Awesome Plus TV Africa, I'm Benga Aborowa. Over the weekend, angry crowds took to the streets after the Ethiopian military deployed in the city to try to end a power struggle between the Somali region's local administration and the central government. Non-Somalis living in eastern Ethiopian city of Jigjiga are in hiding. A resident of the city has told the BBC Amharic service. There's been a wave of ethnic violence in the Somali region in recent days, leading to 8 churches being set on fire and several priests being attacked. Fighting between ethnic Somalis and Amaras continued in Jigjiga into Sunday. As at today, the situation in the city is calmer. The ECOWAS peace mission in Guinea-Bissau has reaffirmed its total commitment to complementing the efforts of security agencies in securing Guinea-Bissau's parliamentary elections come November 18, 2018. The reassurance was made by the mission's acting force commander, Colonel Taye Ahmed, to a visiting delegation of the ECOWAS network of electoral commissions led by the chairman of Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, at the mission's headquarters in Bissau. Ahmed said they had provided stability and restored constitutional order in the country. The security situation remained fragile. He, however, said the force was working with the relevant national authorities, the United Nations and African Union missions to secure the country before and during the post-election period in line with its mandate. The incumbent president of Mali, Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, addressed supporters at his party's headquarters in Bamako on the 3rd of August, a day after the announcement of the results of the first round of the country's presidential elections. Keïta won 41.42% of votes in the July 29 presidential poll in the sprawling West African nation, easily ahead of the second-place rival Somalia Cisse with 17.8%. They will face off in a runoff vote next Sunday. The 3 main opposition candidates in Mali's presidential elections announced on Sunday they were mounting a legal challenge at the country's constitutional court. The opposition had alleged ballot box stuffing and other irregularities after incumbent Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta took the lead in the first round of the vote last month. Somalia Cisse filed around 20 submissions to the Constitutional Court on Saturday for ballot box stuffing, violations of the electoral law, and other irregularities, a spokesman for the candidate told AFP. The senior special assistant to the Nigerian president on foreign affairs and diaspora, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Arewa, says that 116 of the Nigerian migrants trapped in Libya slave camps will be repatriated home soon. She said this through a media aide, Abdulrahman Balogun, on Sunday in Abuja, that the federal government and the International Organization for Migration have located the detention camps of the Nigerians and offered to bring back those who are willing to come back home. She said that the federal government moved to rescue the detained migrants after their plea for assistance was heard through a video clip from Libya on the 8th of July. In the video, the stranded Nigerians who veiled their faces said that their final destination was Europe, but were intercepted by the security agencies in Libya and locked up in dehumanizing conditions. The migrants had in the video said they were being tortured to death on a daily basis. Dabiri-Arewa said that 9,438 Nigerian migrants had so far been repatriated by the federal government and the International Organization for Migration. An explosion after a vehicular collision near a bridge in central Cairo injured 9 people on Monday, a health ministry spokesman said. It was not immediately clear what exactly caused the blast. 2 security sources told Reuters a faulty car battery might have been responsible. Security sources said flames from the destroyed car spread to a minibus with debris and metal scattered close by. Health Ministry spokesman Khaled Megahed told journalists 3 people were injured and transferred to hospital. Italian Foreign Minister Enzo Milanesi on Sunday praised the excellent cooperation with Egypt over a probe into the 2016 murder of Italian student Giulio Regeni. Milanesi expressed confidence in the ongoing investigation at a joint press conference with Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri in Cairo. Milanese said, and I quote, "This is, by the way, the final goal of justice, and we very much welcome the excellent cooperation which was established between the Italian judiciary and the Egyptian judicial authorities. And we're confident that justice will be brought in this really tragic and painful case." End of quote. For his part, Shukri said that Egypt will support dialogue between Libyan political parties to reach a Libyan solution and to nullify the country's military, and to unify the country's military. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you more news.
It is not yet over. The Get to Latin Millions promo is still on. 110 people have won up to 65 million naira already, and you can be one of them, as there is 31 million naira still available to be won. You stand a chance to become a millionaire. All you have to do is walk into a Fidelity Bank near you and open an account with 10,000 naira or pay in 10,000 naira to your already existing account, and you stand a chance to win 1 million, 2 million and 3 million naira in the monthly draw. Grow your account to 50,000 naira and stand a chance to win up to 5 million naira. That's not all. Lots of consolation prizes like refrigerators and generators to be won. Rush now to the Fidelity Bank near you and start saving for a chance to become a millionaire in the Fidelity Get a Lot in Millions promo.
We're Fidelity. We keep our word.
I don't get a lot. God, you win.
A cholera outbreak has claimed not less than 11 lives, while 47 others are currently hospitalized at 3 villages in Bebeji local government area of Kano State. A youth leader in the affected area, Ubali Dawood Abubakar, who confirmed the outbreak, said the 3 villages have been battling the suspected cholera outbreak for over 1 week, adding that despite reporting to the appropriate authorities, there's been no response. In his reaction, the public relations officer of the State Health Ministry, Ismail Garba Guamaja, claimed that the ministry was unaware of the outbreak of cholera in the affected villages, but promised to investigate the incident to enable the ministry take appropriate action. In Taraba State, NICO members over the weekend drowned in a river in the Gashaka local government area while on a picnic. The incident occurred barely 24 hours after the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Major General Zachary Kazaure, visited the NYSC orientation camp in the state, where he addressed the 2018 Batch B Corps members. It was gathered that the Corps members had gone to the riverside for a picnic when suddenly the river overflowed due to heavy rainfall in nearby communities and submerged them. The Taraba State Coordinator of NYSC, Ms. Florence Yaku, described the incident as shocking and one of the darkest days of her career. Meanwhile, the Lamido of Gashaka, Alhaji Zubairu Gabdo, has expressed shock over the incident, describing it as a monumental loss to the country. Still staying in Taraba State, 11 men have been reportedly killed in the ongoing crisis in Lao local government area. The killer herdsman went on a fresh rampage in Koinini village of Lao over the weekend, killing 8 persons. The killers, who invaded at night, set many homes ablaze. Lao has been in crisis since January, leaving at least 141 persons dead and most of the settlements destroyed. Violence resurfaced last Thursday at a masquerade festival in Wailawa, where 2 residents were injured. The State Commissioner of Police, David Akinremi, at the weekend deployed a team of policemen to join forces with a divisional police officer in the area and earn skirmishes, but the policemen were ambushed by the rampaging armed bandits. In a crossfire, however, 2 of the marauders were killed by the police and 2 arrests were made, with some weapons, motorbikes and charms recovered. Nigeria's Minister of Defense, General Mansour Dan Ali, retired, has emphasized the need for the deployment of more security personnel from the Nigerian Police and the Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps to areas already liberated by the military in the northeastern states. He is of the view that this would consolidate on the gains of the military operations as well as enable the military push forward in its clearance operations. In a statement by its public relations officer, Colonel Tuku Gusau, the minister congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari on his election as the new ECOWAS chairman. He used the opportunity to remind the community that the Nigerian Armed Forces, in collaboration with other security agencies, are doing a lot to combat insecurity in the country. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria has condemned the invasion of the runway of Sultan Abubakar III International Airport in Sokoto by supporters of some politicians who broke through the airport fence and violently accessed restricted areas at the airport. The General Manager of Corporate Affairs of FAN, Henrietta Yakubu, in a press statement released on Sunday, described the incident, which occurred on Friday, August 3, 2018, as a gross violation of the security and safety arrangements at the airport. This is in reference to the former Governor of Sokoto State, Senator Aliyu Wamako's visit to the state, followed by the huge crowd that received the senator and his party in Sokoto on Friday. She added that the airport environment is a highly regulated environment and should be seen as such. As the 2019 elections is drawing closer, FAN has advised the general public, especially politicians and their supporters, to ensure compliance with all rules and regulations at the airport. Normalcy was, however, restored as a team of aviation security officers were able to curtail the situation. When we return, we'll bring you updates on the tragic landslides in Nepal, updates on the candidacy of the upcoming Brazilian general elections, and more. Do stay with us. And on the foreign scene, about 10,000 people have been evacuated on the Indonesian island of Lombok after a magnitude 6.9 earthquake on Sunday left more than 90 people dead. Boats have been sent to evacuate more than 1,000 tourists from the nearby Gili Islands. Aid agencies said the priority was to provide shelter for residents too scared to return to their homes. The agency said the impact was far bigger than another earthquake that hit Lombok last week, killing 16 people. A landslide killed a woman and at least 7 children in Nepal over the weekend. Workers working in the downpour rescuers in Berry Town, about 310 kilometers west of the capital Kathmandu, were still searching for a missing boy, having pulled out one survivor. The dead children were aged between 3 and 11 years. Flash floods and landslides in the June to September monsoon season are common in the mostly mountainous regions of Nepal, home to 8 of the world's 14 highest mountains, including Mount Everest. Samir Shistra, an official at the Weather Forecasting Office in Kathmandu, said more landslides and flash floods are likely as heavy rains were forecast for hilly areas in the central and western Nepal through Tuesday. At least 40 people were shot and 4 people dead in Chicago over the weekend during the 7 hours from midnight Saturday to early morning, city police said on Sunday. A staggering violence streak in the city where authorities say gun violence has been decreasing this year. These were both random and targeted shootings on our streets, said Fred Whaler, Chief of Patrol Division of the Chicago Police Department, in a press conference. He said most of the shootings are connected to gang violence in the city of about 2.7 million people, the 3rd largest in the United States. Police said gunmen targeted a block party, a gathering after a funeral, and other gatherings on the night where thousands of people gathered for a downtown concert. Local media reported that the brunt of the violence happened in the city's west side, where 25 people were shot in separate attacks. Whaler touted that shootings in 2018 were down from last year.
A citywide reduction in murders by 25% so far this year, and reduction in shooting of over 30%. That's not a victory by any means or any stretch, but we continue to head in the right direction. So, yeah, by no means do these figures or these statistics mean that we've got a victory. What I promise you is that we won't be defeated. I mean, I promise this city that we won't be defeated. We won't be overrun by that small group, that small element that's committing these reckless acts. We will not. I promise you that we will not be defeated. We need more help from our judicial system. We need more help from our federal partners, and we're getting it. But we won't be defeated in this. Go ahead. We can never measure what we prevent. You can't measure that. What we can see is that less victims. That's what we look at, less victims. And that's how we measure our success. Is it good when you have someone, a loved one who's shot? No. I promise you it's not. But that's how we measure our success. No, we're behind the 8 ball a little bit sometimes in trying to get people incarcerated, repeat offenders. We're behind the 8 ball with that.
Brazil's leftist Workers' Party on Sunday named former Sao Paulo Mayor Fernando Haddad as a running mate of his charismatic founder Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva for the October presidential elections. We're going with Lula and Fernando, a tweet posted from Lula's official Twitter account read on Sunday. Even though Lula is currently serving a 12-year prison sentence for corruption, the Workers' Party nominated the former president and its candidate on Saturday. He is awaiting a final court judgment on whether he can run. On the current law, anyone losing an appeal against a criminal conviction is barred from the ballot. His running mate, Haddad, was mayor of Sao Paulo from 2013 to 2017, but failed to win re-election. Before that, he was education minister in the governments of Lula and Lula's successor, Dilma Rousseff. Up next is our business news.
This is Business News, and I'm Edidiong Iwang. Now, Nigeria's crude exports rose for the first time in July due to Shell's lifting of export restrictions on key Bonny Light grade and the vessel tracking data obtained from the Bloomberg terminal show. The biggest crude export rises were for brass, Bonny, and for cargoes. Bonny Light increased 127,000 barrels per day in July from 87,000 barrels per day in June. For cargoes, flows were 204,000 barrels per day versus 162 barrels per day, and brass exports rose to 98,000 barrels per day versus 32 barrels per day in June. Our total exports rose to 1.64 million barrels per day in July, as opposed to the 1.61 million barrels per day the previous month. Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode are expected to lead other dignitaries today for the inauguration of the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Lagos. The two-day event, built to commence today, is an initiative of the Office of the Vice President in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, as well as 11 other federal agencies. The event is aimed at complementing the efforts of the state government in developing MSMEs in the country. The Group Executive Director at Dangote Industries Limited, Devakoma Edwin, has said that the emergence of the refinery will save Nigeria a huge amount of foreign exchange outflow, and this will save Nigeria over $7.5 billion through import substitution. Now, according to him, the country's foreign reserves is being used to import petroleum, which is causing the country's foreign reserve to deplete heavily. Now, while speaking of future plans, he said, plans are being made to construct a 570 megawatts power complex. He pointed, however, that the nation's crude oil demand has also reduced, and as a result of United States' introduction of shale oil into the market. Now, still ahead on Plus TV Africa is our roundup on entertainment and sports news. Don't go away.
And in entertainment, Georgia University is set to confer an honorary doctorate degree on popular Nigerian blogger Linda Ikeji, who is currently in America ahead of the birth of her baby. She's been honored by Trinity International University of Georgia for her contribution to media in Africa as Africa's most successful blogger. This is definitely an accolade season for Linda, who was conferred with the title of Gimbia Matasan Arewa, which means Princess of the Arewa Youths by the Northern Youth Initiative for Peace and Good Governance. In a recent interview, US chat show host Jimmy Kimmel had an interview with Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, and has revealed that one of the best times of his life was a summer spent in an Amish community in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. According to him, during his stay, he milked cows and picked berries, and he said it was one of the things that helped him to make him who he is today. It's a chance to really kind of get away and with just no electronics, explained Diddy. It really teaches you how to just relate with each other. According to Forbes magazine, Diddy is currently worth $826 million US. American character actress, comedian, singer, and dancer whose career spanned 6 decades, Charlotte Rae, has died. She died at the age of 92, and her son Larry Strauss confirmed her death to newsmen, saying she passed away peacefully at her home in Los Angeles on Sunday afternoon. Charlotte Rae was best known for her role as housekeeper in the comedy series Different Strokes, and was the voice of a character in Tom and Jerry the movie in 1992. Her cause of death is yet to be disclosed. And that's it on entertainment, the very best in sports, right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko. Starting off with tennis. Well, at the just concluded 2018 Nigeria Table Tennis Federation Junior League Championship at the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Surulere, Lagos, the very best of tennis was played in a round-robin format that saw competitors win cash prizes and gift items. In the female category, Esther Tosin Oribamiche from the G20 Table Tennis Club in Lagos State defeated Rafiat Jimoh from Kwara State 4-0 to emerge champion, and she got the sum of 250,000 naira as cash prize. Speaking with her on her future plans for the game, she had this to say.
Yeah, I've qualified for Youth Olympic Games in Argentina. So my plan is to go back home, train more harder so that I can put in all my best in the Youth Olympic Games.
Well, in the male category, Emmanuel Augustine from Lagos State had to come from 2-0 against Abayomi Animashaun to win the game 4-2. And he also got the sum of 250,000 naira. Well, the Plus TV team caught up with him and asked him about his motivation for the game of tennis.
I've decided to, I've dedicated my time to train very well because I train Monday to Sunday. So because of this tournament, because I saw many people on the TV like Kodrauno, Shegun Toyola, seeing them winning, so that's why.
Speaking with Eniton Oshudi on Nigeria losing players to other countries who seem more developed in sports, he said it was a major problem that needs to be tackled in the country.
It's actually the bane of sports, or generally, and it's happening in table tennis. People traveling out before they're ready. You know, they don't have the basic discipline to even live abroad, which then ends up affecting their game. And then they get, of course, because when you're not playing well for your club, you get sent back to Nigeria, and then it's a bad cycle that we're trying to stop. And we can only stop that by doing tournaments here, getting the good coaches in here. So we develop our own players to the level, not only with their skills, but mentally be ready to go abroad as well. So hopefully if we can have a lot more tournaments, they're making a bit of money here as well, because money is very critical to these young players. So if they're making the money to stay here, then we're fine.
Well, moving over to football, AC Milan have named the former captain Paolo Maldini as their director of strategic development, just weeks after former midfielder and head coach Leonardo was named as general manager. And for Maldini, who was described by the club as a living legend, spent his entire career at the San Siro, making 902 appearances, winning 7 Serie A titles and 5 Champions League, and of course, a Coppa Italia in his 25-year playing career. And that's it on Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
And that's our news update of events at this hour. For more updates, please follow us on Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube page at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us. I am Benga Aboroa.